This is PJD1 94.7 Mix FM St. Maarten, your 24-hour news source.
You are Sint Maarten. You are Sint Maarten.
The URSM, the Unified Resilient Sint Maarten Movement, being a political movement, will be hosting a weekly radio program called You Are Sint Maarten every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on Radio Mix 94.7 FM. I myself, Dr. Messalina, the political leader of URSM, will be hosting this radio program in which current issues, actualities, and general topics will be discussed with the people of Sint Maarten. So join us every Wednesday on Radio Mix 94.7 for our radio show, You Are Sint Maarten.
You are Sint Maarten. You are Sint Maarten.
Dear people of Sint Maarten, good evening. Welcome to your radio program, You Are Sint Maarten on the Radio Mix 94.7 FM. As you know, I'm Dr. Messalina, that will be your host in this radio program that we have going on at least for 2 years already, informing the people on a weekly basis, heading towards election that will take place on the 11th of January 2024. As you know, I'm also the surgeon in Sint Maarten, serving this community since 1999. And we are now busy after establishing a political movement, a political party called the URSM. We are now heading and contesting the upcoming parliamentary elections for country Sint Maarten. As you know, the URSM stands for putting the people, and especially also the country, of course, above self, and believes in educating and informing the people of this country. We always, and that is what I always repeat again, there should be always, in the eyes of the URSM, a sound balance between the welfare status of the society and also, on the other side, everything that has to do with the progress of the country and safeguarding the welfare of the people. We are presenting a weekly program in which current topics, community developments and issues, and general matters concerning the people of Sint Maarten are being discussed. As you all can see it and feel it, we have a few weeks more to go before we are on the 11th of January 2024. That is going to be a big day for country Sint Maarten, because then we will have our parliamentary election for this country. And seeing how our country is at this particular moment, seeing the deplorable state that we are in, seeing the suffering of the people in this country, and especially realizing that there are no tangible developments going on now that can give promising hope and prosperity to the people of this country, I sincerely hope that the people will make up their mind and make a good decision for a continuous positive progress of their country, Sint Maarten. Today, as usual, I have two invitees with me in our radio program. I have to the extreme to me, you guys cannot see it, but I have here a dynamic young gentleman sitting next to me that is working on the field of justice for the Coast Guard of country Sint Maarten in the name of Mr. Paco Isenia. Paco, good evening and welcome to our radio program, You Are Sint Maarten.
Good evening, radio listeners, and good evening, Doc. Thank you for having me tonight.
Great. Paco, for me too, it's a great honor and a great pleasure to have you here in our radio program because, as people know by now, you are a candidate on the URSM slate. And actually, you have been involved since the beginning of this URSM. You have been part of this great, promising political movement, Unified Resilient Sint Maarten movement. And Paco, as you know, of course, but the people outside there should know, you are number 14 on the slate of the URSM. But we will come back to you, Paco, because of course you have to motivate and explain to people of Sint Maarten why you have chosen the URSM and why actually you decided on your young age already to be part of the political arena of our beloved Sint Maarten. Next to Paco, I have also another invitee in our radio program. That is a very nice lady in the name of Steeman. So, for me also, it's a great honor to have you here in our radio program. And so you have also been a candidate in the past, and now you have chosen consciously to be a candidate on the URSM, and you are number 13 on the slate of the URSM. So, good evening and welcome to our radio program.
Good evening to everybody. Hope you have a good day. And I hope that you will give us a great opportunity and so that we can get into the parliament.
For country Sint Maarten.
For country Sint Maarten to serve
course.
you better.
Of course, because we need good representation nowadays in our country. Paco, you are a young, dynamic candidate.
Indeed.
That is contesting the upcoming parliamentary elections. And I remember when I started myself in the political arena, you came one day to me and told me, Doc, I would like to walk close to you because I think that I can learn a lot before I take this huge decision in my life to be in the political arena of my country, Sint Maarten. And I took you by the hand. I said, okay, Paco, let's go. And we did what we had to do. And today we are in the URSM together. And I approach you and say, Paco, since the beginning, you have been so involved in the political situation of your country that I think it's time now, with your young age, seeing your profession, that it's now the time for you to be part of this serious URSM, Unified Resilient Sint Maarten movement. Paco, tell me, what is your first experience until now to be part of this huge, promising movement?
Yes. First, let me start by saying the very beginning. When I used to see you back then, in previously as a parliamentarian, to my eyes, you was a big role model to me, and I used to sit back and watch the live videos of the public meetings, and I was amazed of how you handle things, and I instantly saw that you could have been someone that I could really learn from in this political arena. Like you mentioned, is something new to me. I'm learning a lot, and I was there in the very beginning when the party was starting to branch out, and I was very pleased to be able to participate in this coming election in part of the URSM. And why URSM? There's a lot of questions out there. Why URSM? URSM is a party of inclusion. That's the big reason. We include everyone.
That's the main reason, right?
Yes. Is a big reason, and we include everyone within this party to have a say. And you know, out there, the people may say, okay, we are inclusion, but reality, you would actually hear that when they try to say something, when they try to be involved with something, they always get shut down. But we, as someone that is inside, I'm actually seeing the inclusion exactly in first hand. We are very engaged within the group. We always listen to everyone. We always interact with everyone. We always be open with everyone and take consideration of what someone has to say.
Of course, and with great respect to each other too. And Paco, as you know, we had a plan, a way of approach to prepare our candidates for the upcoming election.
Correct.
As you know, we have had our workshops that we had. We had a great invitation in our workshop. I remember we have brought in the ombudsman to give a presentation about the function and the work of the ombudsman for country Sint Maarten, for everybody to be well informed how that works in this democratic system. We also have invited, in preparing ourselves for the upcoming elections with the new candidates, we have had an invitation for the Integrity Chamber of Country Sint Maarten, and also the Integrity Chamber, that I'm very thankful. We're very positive with the initiative to invite him to talk to promising future candidates of the URSM, that they realized also that would have a big chance to be part of the upcoming new coalition and government for country Sint Maarten. And in that way, we have had a lot of opportunity to invite a lot of different sectors, important institutions in our community to prepare our candidates, because we really believe that that is necessary. For example, it was a quite new development for example, the higher councils to be approached and say, listen, can you please come and hold a lecture for a political party? It was completely new, also for the Integrity Chamber, and they had to think it twice, but I have great respect for the decision that they took, because at the end of the day, they realized that the integrity is also for the upcoming candidates that have a big chance to be in the upcoming coalition or government. So if we can make everybody aware that it's going to have a public function that has to serve the people of this country, it's good to prepare them very, very good. And Paco, as you know, we have been working with this political movement party almost for 2 years, having almost every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, constantly meetings to actually adjust, to make sure that there is a good team spirit, that people are well informed, that the transparency of the party is evident in the group, and for us to be online, aligned, to have actually the same common great goal and vision for the country. And I think we have been quite successful in that. And now that we are so far, the people outside there is also feeling that the URSM is not only a party of inclusion, but it's a teamwork effort to be so far with the political movement, that it's not about the solo dance of individual candidates. No, it's a common effort of the total political party. That is how the URSM is functioning at this particular moment. Paco, you have also, I have almost stated that you are working for the Coast Guard. Maybe it's great for you to inform the people outside there what are actually your tasks in the Coast Guard function that you have here for Sint Maarten. Okay.
I'm going to be right above the, let me say, the water line. Mm-hmm. Too specific, and I am not able to. But just the basic, for other radio listeners and the Facebook viewers, I work for the Ministry of Justice, in this case, the Coast Guard, as you mentioned, Doc. I've been there since 2016. Did my whole training and courses in Curacao for like around almost 3 years, and then I came back home to serve my country. What do? We are, let me say, the police in water. Mm-hmm. People may not think that, but we're actually the police in water, because Sint Maarten is the only, let me say right now, the Dutch Caribbeans that Coast Guard is the only entity that deals with the water. Mm-hmm. Police do have authorities, but we have broad authorities within the water line and the coastline and outside open seas. Mm-hmm. We are tasked with search and rescue. We are tasked with obtaining the law. We are tasked with environmental. Within the organization, we have different departments. That, let me say, operational wise, we have logistic wise, we have intelligence, we have information, and right now my task is currently information intelligence. I was in the operation, mm-hmm. let me say, with the interceptors. obtaining the law, but right now my focus is more, let me say, gather information and provide for analysis.
Oh, you have a lot of tasks there by the Coast Guard, the whole responsibility.
Yeah.
And the other part is great because you're a very young professional and you're already very advanced in the organization of Coast Guard. What is good for country Sint Maarten, because actually we need our coast guarded too. As we're talking about the country, we have to think on safety for our country. So I'm very happy to have a young, dynamic, young professional that is actually very, very, very advanced in his task on being the police in the sea, right? That is what you said,
correct.
Great.
And don't forget inspiring, because at this move, I actually inspire other younger folks that I am, let me say, 99% that for the next 4 years in the next election, we're going to see more coming out.
From Mr. Paco, very, very good. No, but that's the way you have to do it. If you're ambitious for your country, you have vision, you have ideas, and you have a great love for your country, and you want to see progress. That I think is a good way to do it. Is to join a political movement and throw your extra energy into it to serve your country. Because I think this is great if you have the sensitivity to do something that is going to serve the common interest for the country. So you have also decided to be part of this URSM, and actually you have been already once on a other political slate, but you decided now I'm going to join the URSM. Is there some reasons that you decided, I think this is a great political movement to join, to try to serve in that way my great Sint Maarten?
I lived here for a long time before Paco born. Don't want to tell you my age for now. But, you can hear that I'm one of the Chinese that's included in this URSM. I found that the URSM has a lot of potential great candidates with good ideas, and they are all have a very good position in where they are right now. I mean, they know what they want, and they are very dedicated to want to serve the country and do what they can do. And I think that the potential of this new URSM is very great, and I didn't join it 2 years ago, but I just joined it recently, and I found that it is a very good group. That's why I decided to join this. I wasn't going to join back again, but I find that the URSM is being great, and I wanted to be part of it also.
Great.
If I can be included in also.
Yes, and so if you look at Sint Maarten represents 120 at least different nationalities, or races too, and I think it's great to see a country that can live peacefully with each other, while there are more than 120 different nationalities living on this small island called Sint Maarten, with big potentials, by the way. And I do believe that we should be a party, as Paco said, of inclusion for our society. Of course, 120 different nationalities put some strain and stress on the phenomena of patriotism. We realize that. But on the other side, because the URSM realizes that, we thought that the only formula that's going to help us progress this country in cohesion is to make sure that we are a party of inclusion, and that is why we try to include all nationalities in our group of candidates. Next to that, another target or a goal that I had as the leader of the party was to make sure to include all representations of all professional sectors of our community. For example, a Paco is from the
Justice.
from justice, from the Coast Guard, from the justice sector. We have also a lawyer, Shamira Rosenberg, is also representing the justice sector of our political movement. We have our president of our board is also attorney, Mrs. Brenda Brooks. And we have, for example, a committee also of justice. In there we have representation of at least 7 lawyers that are advising us and guiding us in the background. You yourself from the business sector. We have, for example, Veronica Webster is from the Department of Statistics. She is the head of the Department of Statistics for country Sint Maarten. We have 2 policemen also from the legal angle, being Mr. Mauricia. Roger L. Mauricia is a very known citizen in our country, being a police officer serving the people of Sint Maarten. Next to him as a policeman, we have another colleague policeman from Mr. Mauricia, being Mr. Wendell Today. That is also a other police officer for County Sint Maarten that joined us on the list. We have also Mr. Herbert Martina, a very active person in the younger generation of Country Sint Maarten. We have Gracita Arendel, a very educated lady too. And Gracita has been the first president of parliament of Country Sint Maarten, did a fantastic job to set up the parliamentary institution at the beginning of Country Sint Maarten in 10. We have Mr. Brug, is another professional. He works for the Inspectorate of Education. We spoke about Mr. Rolox also. Mr. Rolox is an entrepreneur, is a businessman. We have Mr. Somersol. Mr. Somersol has been the deputy minister plenipotentiary representing Sint Maarten in the Netherlands, actually being the right hand of the prime minister. Mr. Somersol is also a businessman nowadays, used to be an inspectorate, but now he is in the sector of pest control, for example.
And health.
And health also. Further, we have a young dynamic lady, Mrs. Felicia Brooks. Mrs. Felicia Brooks is, I think, actually the most educated young person that we have. It's incredible what she has on her curriculum vitae on education. Did political science, did international relations. She did a lot. It's incredible, and Felicia is for me one of the promising new candidates for the URSM. We have Mr. Emer. Mr. Emer, I call him the ambassador for Sint Maarten. He is a taxi driver. He is the president of the Taxi Association of Country Sint Maarten.
Taxi drivers are the ambassador for the island, you know.
He's ambassador, of course. He's ambassador. We have Mr. Delano. Mr. Delano Hutchinson is a sport leader in the detention center for Country Sint Maarten, doing a lot of effort to re-educate those in detention, to rehabilitate them back in our society once their term is over. We have also Mr. Jason Matthew. Mr. Jason Matthew is a pharmacist assistant, very known also here on Sint Maarten. And we have further Mr. Peterson, that is, of course, a representation of our known Simpson Bay. And we have also Mr. Early Charlemagne, that is very informed into the educational sector of County Sint Maarten. It's just, I was just mentioning, and we have, of course, Chris Wever, number 2 on our list. Chris Wever is working at the Ministry of Education.
He was a former minister.
He was also the former minister from Vromi. Did in a short term that he was sitting there. He did a wonderful job. Next to the candidates in the URSM, we have also a lot of committees. We have a committee of education. We have a lot of teachers being members of that committee, working on plans and vision plans for education for Country Sint Maarten. I spoke about the legal committee that we have, consisting of about 6 to 7 lawyers. We have a health committee too, We have in that health committee, if I'm not mistaken, we have 6 doctors working in the health committee. And further, we have a committee of neighborhood, and we focused in that committee of neighborhood to come with a vision plan about how can we combat criminality in the neighborhood, how can we come with ideas to combat littering in the neighborhood, also come with a vision plan how to increase the general livelihood in the neighborhoods, and also think about after-school activities in the neighborhood. That were the 4 topics that we were concentrating on in the committee of the neighborhoods. And further, we had a big committee that worked on the vision of Country Plan Sint Maarten. We didn't only work on a manifesto, that is the short vision that we have for Country Sint Maarten being the governing period of 4 years, what we think that we can achieve. But we had also a vision for the coming 10 years, because we have to focus on the long-term developments of our country too. And we decided that we're going to work on a country plan that is actually giving you an idea how the URSM wants to walk to get to getting the necessary successes that is going to make this country a great country for all of us. Mm-hmm. I want to remind the listeners that we are live in this radio program. If you would like to call in, you can make use of the telephone number 5437961. I repeat, we are live, so you can call in if you want to make a statement, or you want to ask us a question, or you want to have a little more an idea about our manifesto or our country plan. You feel free to call in. The telephone number is 5437961. We are running fast out of time for the first half of our radio program. I'm going to take a small break, and I will be back in a few minutes for us to continue with the second half of our radio program. You are Sint Maarten on the Radio Mix 94.7.
Announcing the St. Maarten Hospitality and Trade Association in-room hotel book, always available in hotels throughout the island. Visit St. Maarten is your complete guide to dining, shopping, history and culture, and activities on the friendly island of St. Maarten. From the top-rated restaurants to the best beaches, and great tips on where to find the best buys and one-of-a-kind gifts. Visit St. Maarten has it all. Go to visitstmaarten.com, the SHDA's official consumer website, to find out more. Visit St. Maarten special shopping and dining guide and handy maps are available at your hotel front desk and in your hotel room. Check out the Visit St. Maarten map. Visit St. Maarten, the book that explores the heart of the island's culture. For more information or advertising, or to be recommended by the SHDA, call 721-542-0108. Download the Visit St. Maarten app now for all the visit information at your fingertips.
Win a vacation for 2 to Sandals Resort in Jamaica using your RBC Visa credit card in the RBC Gift Yourself the Ultimate Getaway promotion. Just spend $1,500 or local equivalent. Promotion ends on December 18, 2023. Visit rbcultimategetaway.com for more details.
Before starting a long day in front of a screen, how about some civil discourse for your ears? From NPR News, reliable, trustworthy, screen-free. Listen every weekday.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of our radio program, You Are Sint Maarten on the Radio Mix 94.7. As mentioned in the first half of our radio program, we have here as invité with us Mr. Paco Isenia. He is a candidate on the URSM slate contesting the upcoming parliamentary elections for Country Sint Maarten. And Paco is number 14 listed on our political slate contesting our parliamentary elections. And next to Paco, of course, we have Steeman. Steeman is also a candidate on our political party list, and is number 13 on our list. Paco?
People know me as Margaret.
Margaret, yes. But your official name is Sao.
Official name is Sao, yes.
Sao, yes. But it's Margaret Steeman. A lot of
Yes.
people know you as Mrs. Margaret Steeman. And Margaret is also part of this great successful team. Margaret, you told me just now that you have some activities doing because you're a party of inclusion and you do a lot of activities on a daily basis. You can tell the public what you're doing so they learn to know Margaret better.
Since I have been included in this URSM, actually it's an honor to be included in here. And I start talking to people. I listen to what their concerns are. For example, somebody who didn't know me before, and he was talking about, he has this people that this young guy that's making noise with him, even though he has arrested. Then he's playing with his bike and making a lot of noise that he couldn't even take a rest off. Mm-hmm. It's a bit annoying. I understand this is a kind of like a noise pollution. Mm-hmm. We do have that in law, but then how do we handle this law? That is a story that we need to look into. I like to be in a position to help people whenever they have a concern. It's not just, okay, I want to go to the parliament and do nothing and just listen to everybody else. I prefer to listen to local people, or there are people who come to me and say, look, if you're going in there, what are you going to do for me? I said, what are your concerns? But if you're going to ask me for a piece of land, I'm sorry, I can't give you for that, because there were a lot of jokes about this on the island. Because I'm not going to tell a lie and tell you, yes, I will give it to you, but that's not possible. Mm-hmm. So I can only help you when there are concerns about how the daily life that affects us on the island. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have environmental issues, you have, anyway, all sectors have their own issues. But my concern is, what can we do to make people live life easier, to live comfortable, and to promote the island, to get it more, a lot more in the international stage, and to get the country going, everybody's live comfortably, or maybe has a little more extra.
Of course, and I think that's a good goal to have if you are part of a community. You want actually that everybody that lives with you enjoys some prosperity and at some level of a good quality life. What at this particular moment is a big challenge in our country, because poverty is taking over this country, and I have an allergy to see this in my country, and that's why that stimulates me more and more to try to be successful with this URSM, to make sure that we get in government, because there are so many challenges in our society that we have to work on, that I hope that the people will understand that they will have to give others a chance to get the opportunity to fix what everybody is suffering from. For example, education is a big problem in this country. That is one. Poverty as such is a very big problem. People are living here, and I say it every time again, 1/3 of our community live with $850 in a household together to manage the month. Can you imagine that you live with a whole family with $850 or less? And that is, of course, very stressful to do. You have kids to feed, you have to bring them to school, they need transportation, you have telephones to pay, utility to pay, rent to pay. And all that has to happen with $850 or less, and 1/3 of our society is living under this condition. And nowadays our government is doing like it's business as usual, and it's not the case. People are suffering at this particular moment.
When you mention about the education, it's not only the children need to be educated properly, and they need a lot of attention. Yes. We should arrange a lot more of the after school activities to keep them busy. Yep. But even adults, when they are before, they didn't have either they don't have the opportunities to go to study more further study, or we should give them the opportunity to have a better life, that is to go to have a different profession, like in the after school, or to advance themselves. Like say somebody has been graduated and they didn't choose a profession, and then all of a sudden they want to be a nurse. But do we have this kind of facilities to educate them so that they can get into this field? Like they call it a professional advancement.
Yes, professional
we
advancement.
should give them some opportunity to do that.
Okay. And you know what we have done with the governments, the last governments that we had, we did everything with this country except fighting to get prosperity for the citizens of this country. And we did not offer the people of Sint Maarten education and opportunities in educating themselves. And I think the only way to progress a country, to give a country prosperity and great development, is to make sure that you offer enough of education to your people. And the only thing that the past governments have done is they have kept the people poor and they did not educate them. And especially now that we are a country, in the status of a country since 10, the only way to move forward to get a great nation called Sint Maarten is to make sure that you can enhance the professional treasury of your country. If you don't have enough educated people that can understand the profession, be professional in their sector, you are not going to be able to push forward your country. And we will have to start being serious with this to make sure that we offer enough education to all citizens of this country, young and old, as you say, Margaret, elderly too, parents too. You can give parents a second chance too by re-educating them, giving them the opportunity to educate themselves, because it's never too late to learn.
Yes, exactly.
And education has a few good things with it. It helps combating poverty. It elevates your standard of life. It gives you bit better opportunities. You can get a better job. You're going to be compensated financially better if you have a better education. All of that is going to contribute for you to enhance your quality of life. Paco, looking at you, I was wondering what made you decide to go in politics? Because you're a young gentleman, dynamic, have a great appeal on the young generation of people.
For sure.
You want to be an example for them, as you said just now in the beginning. What triggered all this for you?
Okay, Doc, that question is such a very important question. You know why I say that? Because that question defines a candidate. That question is basically what everyone just want to answer to see if this candidate is genuine or not. And I want for all the radio listeners and all the Facebook viewers that are currently streaming to hear out what I'm going to say. Why am I running? Especially that I'm a young candidate. And this has to do with Paco Isenia. Paco Isenia number 14 on the URSM slate is deeply committed. I actually saying deeply committed in pressuring the issues that our country, our community faces. And I just want to elaborate in let me say, just one topic. If the community of Sint Maarten look into our manifest, our URSM manifesto, and we look at the point of sponsorship towards sports and art. This is a great issue because I was actually a victim as well. And that was around over 10 years ago. And, it still hurts a bit that I wasn't able to pursue that sponsorship because we was lacking that as a country. And I am pleased to say that we have that in our manifesto, and I am positively that we're going to tackle this issue because there's a lot of very talented individuals out there that wishes to pursue, but right now they don't have that capacity to get that sponsorship towards their sport talent. You understand?
Of course.
They were private sector, but then the private sector doesn't get funds from the government.
No, but what you have to do, of course, is, as Paco said, you have to create the possibilities that you can service also the youth, especially when they have their talents on cultural level, on art level, on sport level. You will have to see how you're going to promote that, because it contributes to the heritage of your country too. And I understand, Paco, you had a dream as a young guy. This is what you wanted to do, and you grew up in a country that one didn't want to help you, and secondly didn't offer you the opportunities for you to realize your dream. And I think it's great if you grow up in a country in which you see that your country is going an extra mile to help you to see how you can fulfill your dream. And of course, it has two sides. You are going to be successful, and the country is going to be proud, for example, to have a successful sporter also for the country. So it cuts on two sides, as I say, if you have attention for culture, for art, for sport, for this generation. And I realize now, for example, that I've been realizing it a while already, that we do not have any structural organized after-school activity for
The
our
youngsters.
kids. You know, I'm going to disclose a painful chapter that I have that until today worries me. When they started with the project of offering a possibility to start with a new hospital, I had a big dream to take that building that the hospital is in and transform it into a after-school activity for the children of Sint Maarten. Because if you look good at that particular building where I walk in since 1999, it's a beautiful Caribbean building, you know, with a patio, with the open spaces and the plants in the middle of all the wards where we have the patients lying. And I had a dream to take that building and transform it into what I would call a youth city, I wanted to call it, and connect it actually to the sport complex, the Raoul Illich sport complex next to it, and close the road going to the emergency room. And in that way make it one big youth city sector that actually kids could go to that building, and there would be a lot of after-school activities organized to entertain them until the parents are back from work in the afternoon. You will have guided homework activities that you could get good opportunity to sit with guidance and do your homework. You will have computer rooms, you will have a library there. And I had it completely in mind what we could do with this old building. But okay, they decided in a time that was, everybody knows that it was a little against building that hospital where we are building it now. Everybody knows the story by now. But anyway, it is what it is. And we are now starting with this hospital, and we're going to throw down this nice Caribbean building. And I think in a developing country like Sint Maarten, it's a little capital destruction to actually break down a beautiful building as the Sint Maarten Medical Center to build a new complex that actually has its challenges already. But okay, we now will not go in that direction today. But hopefully we will have enough votes in January to get a mandate from the people to really start thinking on building still a youth city for country Sint Maarten, because I really think the kids of Sint Maarten need some great sport complexes. There are a lot of talents in Sint Maarten, but we have to offer them the facilities for them to actually develop and actually do what they have to do with their talents. And it's our task, I think, as a government to do that for country Sint Maarten. Margaret, you are also, as you said, part of this. You took the decision to be in the URSM because you said, I think it's a great movement. What you said just now is very important, Margaret. The functions of Parliament is actually based on 4 pillars. The first one is just represent. You are a representative of the people of the country. And that's why I think it's very nice that you said just now you have to listen to the cries and to the problems of the people.
Yeah.
That's one. Being a representative, I think you have to show a big ear to the people of Sint Maarten. Secondly, we have a second function in Parliament. We are legislators. We have to legislate. We have to present.
To make the law.
We have to draft new laws. Mm-hmm. And we are very, very poor in that activity in this country. And I think that has to change too. And not only draft new laws, but amend the existing old laws.
Yes.
And the Eurosam, by the way, has a whole list already that we received. We have it in our possession of all the laws that needs amendments, and we are planning the moment we get in to just go through that list and try to amend as much as possible law that actually is stagnating the good development of our country. We have the list ready. We cannot wait to be in government, Margaret, as you know. And we have
this
to
is
work.
one of the story that I told somebody. He said, "What are you going to do in there?" I said, "Yeah, we need to change. We need to work on some of the laws that is kind of old, and if necessary, we put in some new laws that is workable and favorable for the people of the island."
Of course. So, next to being a representative of the people, to listen to their cries, to their problems, to their issues. Secondly, I said we have a function in Parliament to actually be legislators, to come with new draft laws or to amend laws that actually should need some tweaking and change because of the situation the country is in now. Thirdly, we have a controlling function too. We are the ones, the entity that is controlling government, watching what they're doing, controlling them to make sure that they're doing what actually is actually expected from them and what the people want them to do. And fourthly, next to controlling the government, we have as a fourth task in Parliament is to give direction also to government. So the Parliament is the institution actually deciding the direction that we have to head further with our country, and we have to use the Council of Ministers, the government actually, as the apparatus that is going to take the decisions that we want, because we envision that that is the direction that we have to go with this country. So Parliament has a few tasks, and Margaret, as you said, you're very sensitive for the first one, being the one representing the people, listening to their challenges. And I think that's good, that if every member of Parliament focuses on one of the tasks that Parliament, as a parliamentarian, you have, I think that's great. And you, as you said, Margaret, you would like to be the one with a big listening ear to the people of this country.
So call me.
So call you. No. First, vote for you to be in, and for you to do what we are promising the people now to do.
Give me the votes, and then I'll represent you.
We represent, yes.
And I listen to what your cries.
Yes, well, of course, but that is the way to do it. You have to stay humble.
Yeah.
You have to stay thankful to the people. You have to stay work with integrity, and you have to stay transparent to the people. And that is what I think is missing in this country, because actually our democratic system is failing, and I thought long about it, based on two things. First of all, we lost the trust in our politicians. You can see it every day that we don't trust them anymore. They have proven to us that they are not doing things the right way, with integrity, with principles, with great morals. And secondly, due to that, we lost also hope in this country, because we are not seeing tangible developments going on that we can say this is things that once realized is going to improve the livelihood of everyone here in this country. And we have to work as URSM. Once we are in government, we have to really work to get the trust back of the people, and actually to demonstrate them that once we have the trust of them, that all of a sudden, by moving and taking right decision and governing in a great way this country, people are going to get hope back and wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm living in a great country, in a promising country. That is my big dream for my Sint Maarten once I am in government. My big dream is to be the new government of Sint Maarten, and that is, as you know, Paco and So, that is our dream. We are not doing this to go in opposition, we are doing this to go in government, and we want a new wind for country Sint Maarten. We want a dynamic new government for country Sint Maarten, and that's why I'm asking humbly out of my heart, as leader of the URSM, I'm asking the people outside there, please think twice before you vote. Vote your conscience and don't sell out your vote. Please vote your conscience.
Vote for the right person.
Vote for the right person that sits in the right
and
chair.
the right party.
And the right.
That's URSM.
That is URSM.
URSM.
Okay, Paco, before we get to the end of our radio program, I would like to give you the floor for a few words before we finalize this radio program.
Okay. What I would like to say is I would like to encourage all the listeners and viewers, especially the younger folks, to, you said it all, to vote consciously, to choose the right person, to use your voice so it could be heard. Because I was once young. I'm young, but I was once younger. My first time or second time voting previously, and I wasn't much educated from it. So I just want to encourage, especially the younger folks, to use your voice and use your conscience so that it could be useful in the future and not just sell out yourself. That's all I want to give out there.
Thank you, Paco. Steeman, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, we talk about a lot of the younger people, the working class, but we didn't forget the seniors. I think the government should be able to try their best to support more of the seniors. A lot of people getting a little small pension. We have to work on some ways so that they can have their money, a little more money in their pocket. And one of the ways is that maybe GBE can give them a sort of exemption on their water and electricity bill for a minimum, so that they have the pension that they have in their hand, they can have a little more money to go and spend it somewhere that they need it necessarily. Once you get old, you tend to have a lot of this or that, and that you can't just go to the doctor every day. So maybe you have a headache and then you want to go and buy a little extra of the painkiller or something like that.
So thank you. As you said, we from the URSM thought good about the elderly too in our society that, by the way, are suffering enormously. I will give you a few suggestions that we have in our manifesto to try to improve the livelihood of the elderly that are often forgotten in our community. For example, we want to establish a livable old age pension for Country Sint Maarten. We want to eliminate all taxes on senior citizens. We want to also introduce assistance in home care for senior citizens. And for example, we would like to establish assisted living accommodations for seniors in Country Sint Maarten. And of course, reorganize our public transportation, and in that way facilitate transportation for elderly to keep them as included in our society, and in that way keep them active instead of for them to feel themselves isolated and constantly lonely at home. So we would like to work also on a transportation concept that is going to benefit public transportation that is going to benefit the elderly in our community. That is just to mention a few of them that the URSM was thinking on and actually documented in his manifesto as actually action points to try to improve the livelihood of the elderly in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting to the end of our radio program, You Are Sint Maarten, on the Radio Mix 94.7. I want to thank you all for taking your time out to be with us in this radio program. Paco Isenia, thank you for being with us in this radio program. And Mrs. Steeman, Margaret Steeman, too, thank you very much for the time that you took out to be with us in this radio program. And ladies and gentlemen, once more, thank you. And I'm looking forward to have you back in our weekly radio program, You Are Sint Maarten, on Radio Mix 94.7, next week, Wednesday, from 6 to 7 p.m. Have a great evening. Good night.